Welcome back to LUTE Labs. In this final video, we'll discuss some extra tips and tricks on how to make the most of locations. We will discuss how to use locations in conditions and, as an extension, how to activate nodes using a conditional list, and how to style the location pins to your desire and customize them so they match the theme of your game. Let's take a closer look in the editor now. Okay, so we're back in the editor with our demo scene open, and I've added a simple node here called location if condition. On this node, I just have one order called dialog, and we have our panda character with some simple dialogue. The box will wait for the player to finish clicking until it fades, and currently nothing actually executes this node. Now, previously, we had the activate by on location, triggering when the player enters a specific location. However, we can also use the location variables in if statements and other conditional statements. We're going to show you a new way to execute a node using a condition list. Essentially, a condition list is a list or an array of if statements or if orders, and the node will only execute once all of the conditions have been met in the list. To add a new if statement or condition to your conditional list here, we simply add this plus icon, and we get a new if order created. We can see here the if order inspector, and we want to make sure that the variable is set to the new location that we've created, so our central Avery location. On clicking on this, we have the comparison operator, which in this case can only be equals or equals because a location can't be really greater or less than another location. And we have a location comparison field as well. So we can compare two locations to each other, which there are reasons for it, but it's a bit confusing. So if we leave it as none, the if statement will go through and say, okay, I'm comparing a location, but there's no other location to compare against. Therefore, I must be comparing against the player's location. And that is exactly what it will do. So when this node is executed, either through start or update, it will check through the list of conditions. If all these conditions are met, then the node will be able to execute. Now, because we are using a location, the player location is unlikely to be the location of the actual radius or marker that you have set. So it won't be the case in start. Therefore, we want to make sure the fire mode is update. So this if statement, or these conditional lists of if, or this list of ifs can be continually checked frame after frame during runtime. Once they are all true, and in this case it's only one, once the player reaches the location, the node will be able to execute. So we can see this in action, just as the previous video showed you. Rather than on location, we're using a condition list. The basic text appears, you can see our map, and we can see that our player location can be updated with our location pin being shown. You can go over to it, and the node executes because the conditions have been met. And the location pin gets updated like so. So that shows you just how to use locations and their variables in a if statement, and how to use the conditional list to execute a node. Finally, as an extra little tip, we want to show you how to change the visuals of the location pin themselves. Typically, using the red, then orange, and green is very transparent to players what state a location is in. But you may want to adjust locations depending on what their names are, where they're based, how they look, what they're supposed to be doing, okay? And you can change the style of the locations per location, okay? So the way we do this, if we go to our flow engine and we find our location variable scriptable object here, okay? There's a field called status display options list. This is a reference to a scriptable object, okay? This scriptable object is a list of different states. So in this case, we've got unvisited, visited, completed as a custom one, which you can then override if you please. And you can add to this list by simply editing this default location display list script and adding an extra value to the enum. So for example, when the location is unvisited, it will look like this. And what this looks like is more than just one thing, okay? It can have a name. So what color is that name label? What sprite will we actually use to render it? What color will the radius be? And then all these three options here. Do we show the name? Do we show the sprite? Do we show the radius? So let's go back to our flow engine and just go through that one more time. We go to our location variable, we go to our status display option list, and we open that up, okay? And you can see that just here, okay? It's called the default location display list. Let's take the unvisited status of a location and change it to the custom version, okay? I've already created one here, but I can create another one just so you know how to do so. Right click anywhere in the project folder, head to create, to LUTE, location, and then location display options. And we'll call this custom display test or tutorial. You can see that we can give our name, we can have a name and we can set this to any color we like. We can set the sprite of the location pin. In this case, I'll just set it to a rabbit face, and the color we'll just set to red so it's really obvious. Okay, and we'll show the name just so you haven't seen that, and we'll see what that looks like. Go back to your default display list, and then we'll drag this custom one in for the unvisited display. Okay, so if we go back to our flow engine, go to our location, we can create a new version of this instead. Okay, so if we go to the project, we can create a new version of this list so we don't override the default settings. You can just duplicate this, and then you can go back to your location, and then you can find the duplicate there as well. Okay, just so you don't actually accidentally override all the settings by accident. So let's play this and then see what that actually looks like in the editor. So it's the intro text, show the map, and here we are. We can see our radius is bright red. We've shown the text, the label of the location, and it's changed to a rabbit. If we visit the location, we go to it, it will update, and this uses the update, the visited status, and then uses the sprite and the color and all those attributes to define that pin. And once we complete it, the same thing happens like so. Okay, so that should cover some more intricate bits and pieces on how locations work. We discussed how to use location variables in condition statements, how to execute a node based on the conditional list, and how to change the custom styling of location pins. We hope that this series of videos gives you the tools and equips you with the knowledge on how to create your own location-based game and how to customize it in any way you see fit. Thanks again for watching with LUTE Labs, and we'll see you in the next video.